This episode of the Jake Soul Podcast brought to you by Boxer Baby Bow Ties. If you have a cat or dog, you have to check out Boxer Baby Bow Ties. These are fashionable accessories for cats and dogs that are handmade by owner Kyla Marie Carsey right here in Indiana. You live out of state? No worries. All items ship anywhere in the U.S. So pamper your fur baby and show off their unique personality with their accessories for fashion-forward pets. Contact Kyle at boxer.baby.bowties@gmail.com or on Instagram at boxer.babies.bowties. Also check out her online store at boxerbabyboutique.com. Welcome to the Jake Soul Podcast. Joining me tonight are the brand new owners of Boulder Falls Mini Golf and Bat Zone, Kyla and Dave Bartle. Kyla, Dave, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for stopping out and talking to me. I want to have you guys on for a couple of reasons. First of all, small business owner and community doing great things. Always want to spotlight that. So much appreciated from the Muncie community. Secondly, you guys dove into a business. Small business owners for the first time, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Exciting.
Very exciting.
I can imagine the risk and kind of a little bit being scared, I would assume.
A little scary.
Yeah, it's not too bad though. We've always been big with events in our personal lives, events at our home. We've hosted 50, 60 people sometimes. Graduation open house that had hundreds there. We'd have Halloween parties we love to throw every year with 60 people there. So we're very big on holding events, and we kind of, I think, saw this as one big event opportunity to get people out there and really enjoy our business. So
yeah, not a lot of people are hosting parties with nice putt-putt courses
No,
and batting
no,
cages
no,
at their houses.
no.
Well, first of all, where are you guys from originally, Kyla?
I actually grew up in Albany.
I'm an Albany native as myself.
Yes, a Delta grad, so which I catch a lot of grief about now since we've lived in Yorktown for 17 years. So
We're at in Albany.
right off State Street,
Okay.
so the main drag,
Yep.
or 28,
28.
it's known as. So
Yeah, I grew up just north of the drag strip, kind of out in the country, but
Okay.
it was a mile bike ride in town into the Dairy Dream, so it was.
the Dairy Dream is a must.
Oh, absolutely. Dave, where are you from originally?
I am a Muncie native.
Local?
Yeah,
Great.
born and raised in Muncie before moving out to Yorktown.
Where'd you go to high school at?
Muncie, Burris, and also Muncie Northside. I was one of the victims of the Muncie Northside closing back
Okay.
in the 80s. So I went to Burris after that.
My dad was a Northside grad in 76, and when did they, 84, 85,
It
rough?
was 88.
88?
Yeah.
So how did you guys first meet?
Well, we met at work. We both worked for Ontario Systems, and it was actually during Corporate Challenge time when they used to do Corporate Challenge through the YMCA. And it's actually kind of a interesting thing that our first Corporate Challenge location was Lindenbrook Falls, ironically enough, which is now
Okay.
Boulder Falls.
Right, right.
So
What do you guys do now? I know you obviously purchased the Boulder Falls. Is this a full-time job for one of you, or Kyla, are you still working elsewhere? Dave,
This is a full-time job for me. Last year, after 19 years with my company, my job was eliminated. So some would say it's a blessing in disguise. I don't know if that's really a true statement or not. If there's a blessing in disguise when your job's eliminated, but just keep things positive. I was looking for another opportunity, and when this came along, it just seemed like the right fit for both of us to take this on.
So Kyla, do you work on a full-time basis somewhere else then?
I do. So I work for Independent Federal Credit Union as their development manager, and that's located in Anderson.
Okay.
So I do that full time.
Great. Well, you mentioned your job had been eliminated. What led to the decision to purchase the old Lindenbrook Falls and really dive into this adventure for you guys?
I think for me, I've always been like a nostalgic person, and miniature golf is something I grew up with. Also the batting cages, but I remember many fond memories of going with my grandpa to play mini golf all the time, and us knowing that this was pretty much the only game in town, so to speak, almost like Monopoly. I think that really affected our decision just as much as going there and seeing how nice of a place it is. I mean, it needed some work, some TLC, some things done to it. But overall, it's just really a very nice business that we just happened to hit at the right time, where the owner had been there for 20 years, and he was getting to that point of just wanting to retire and not take it on anymore. So it's kind of like the perfect storm, so to speak.
Now, did you guys seek out a mini golf course, or was it just a case it just was in the cards?
I would say that if you had asked us a year ago or 2 years ago, we always want to be entrepreneurs, but our vision was more of a eatery, wood-fired pizza and craft brew place. If you had said a couple of years ago or last year, hey, you guys are going to be running a mini golf course and batting cages and a restaurant now, we'd be like, oh, you're crazy. That we would never, entertain that idea. But here we are. Here we are now. So
was there a point, and I might try to get you guys in trouble with each other, where one of you looked at the other and said, hey, let's do this? Or were you both on board from day one?
Yeah, we were both on board
Really?
from day one. Yeah, I don't think there was any, of course you go up at pros and cons, for both of us. We make a list out, but it's something that we wanted to do. So
now, had it closed before you guys purchased it, or was it open last season? Because I haven't been over there in years.
So the miniature golf portion has been open and remained open and been operating, forever, ever since it started. But the restaurant portion, I believe, has been closed 5 or 6 years.
yeah, it's just a frozen custard.
Yeah, it was a frozen custard plate right next to it, right?
Yep.
When you went through this process, what all does it take to go purchase a place like that, as far as going through the bank or permits or licenses? Is that a long, drawn-out process? I mean, I know how complicated it can be to buy a home.
That was I don't know, it's an interesting story,
Yeah.
I guess, so to speak. I don't know how to quite say this on this podcast about it, but we went to the bank, my credit union, as a matter of fact, and because it's such a unique niche business, we were soon finding out that they're not so much willing to loan on something like that as I don't know, more like maybe you have like a franchise or something like that was well established, that you could show the track record of revenues and so forth. So there's some reluctancy. It was an early challenge for us to get financing, because of being such a unique niche business that they're just not around anymore.
Were you guys able to use that bank, or did you have to go elsewhere, or did kind of work a business plan up for them?
Yeah, so we did come up with a pretty, I felt, good, detailed business plan. We did go speak with another credit union, and they basically kind of the same thing. I mean, they just were not comfortable with lending money towards this type of investment. Even with everything good on our side, there wasn't enough history from the previous ownership, to be able to provide for them to see. They wanted to see what we could do with it, and obviously you can't do that until you have it. So it was just one of those things that was very much a challenge for us. But luckily, the previous owner has been amazing to work with, and we just worked out a deal with him where we're just all taking care of it personally.
How long a process was that? When did it initially start?
It felt like forever, but
Yeah. Once we gave him our challenges about with the banks and so forth, he was like, you know what, let's meet tonight and let's talk about this. And so we ended up meeting with him. He had basically a detailed proposal written out in terms of payments, interest rate, just like a bank. He's basically our banker, as what he is, the owner. So after drawing up a contract, through our lawyers and so forth, it really moved pretty quickly after that. So,
did you guys write your own business plan?
Yes.
That's awesome. I love the ambition of just diving in and trying something.
Well, it's fun, and it's different when it's your own, when you're doing it for yourself. I can see I come from a long line of almost everybody in my family has owned their own business and worked for themselves. And I can see now why they did that and continue to do that, because once you're building something, I mean, it's your baby, you're building it and it's successful. You're doing it for you and your family and for your, your future children or grandchildren that come along. And I can see why like my dad always said, I could never go back and work for anyone else. I couldn't do that. This is my life.
Right.
And so that's how I feel now. I feel like I'm like, oh my gosh, we could never go back on this. This is our baby, and we have so much heart and soul and efforts put into it.
Speaking of effort, once you guys got the keys, what was some of the first renovations you guys did?
Well, I mean, they're ongoing as we speak, but the first thing that came down were these, not to offend the tree huggers out there, but these giant redwoods that were out there, but they had created such a mess all over the course that they're the first things to come down, because they basically shed twice a year. So that was the very first thing that came down. And there's a matter of the greens really need some TLC, so replacing a lot of the greens out there. And the landscaping had just become overgrown over the years. So that is a daily job right now, just getting the landscaping back in order.
How was the facilities, like the office and where people initially walk up and get their putter and scorecards and all that? Was that in pretty good shape for you guys?
Yeah, that was in really good shape. The clubhouse is what we like to call it.
Okay.
That was in really nice shape. It's all brick. And I don't want to make it sound like it was, not great looking, but it just, the rock formations are all beautiful there. Everything, the waterfall is still working. The restaurant is pristine. It just had frozen custard, so it didn't have any cooking, going on in it. It's a beautiful restaurant for being as old as it is. It's, moving condition. So
how about the batting cages?
Batting cages need a little bit of TLC as well. We underestimated the need for batting cages, and I do say a need because people come from up to an hour. From Portland, from Rushville, Richmond, they come all over. They bring their teams to use the batting cages, and we just thought that was something that was just going to be kind of used. When you played some mini golf, you go play some, hit some balls afterwards just for fun. But when you have so many tournaments and ball games going all the time, people come out there almost daily to take batting practice, then go off to their game they have that night, and there's really a big need for it.
Yeah, we talked about that before the podcast. When I was a kid, we had, out by Rorton had batting cages, over by the old Kmart had batting cages. You mentioned out by Selma, I think, had batting cages on 32, and I don't think there's anywhere in town or really within a decent driving distance from the Muncie area, is there?
There's not. We actually did quite a bit of research, and I think what we found really, I'm not even sure that we ever really found batting cages per se, but as far as putt goes, what was it, Greenwood or something?
Yeah, it's at least an hour away.
It's South Indy.
And a nice course. Not your one that's just a flat on, made of wood or metal. This is, Boulder Falls is a really nice, well-designed course.
One thing I was going to ask you guys, what's it been like running a business with your spouse? Because I know me and my wife, we work very well together, but there are times, and that's just household stuff. How is it having a business together?
I think it's really overall gone really well, because I think we both are very driven and want it to be great. I don't know if I want it great for the same reasons he does, but as long as we both want it great, that's what matters. I'm very community driven, and I look to this place to be like the place to go with your family, and also to get out in the community. And I want to be the place that a not-for-profit thinks of us as this would be the perfect place to hold a fundraiser, because we have so many ideas and there's so many opportunities out there to really do something fun and creative, and hopefully make some money for in fundraising efforts for these organizations. And we have organizations that are near and dear to us as well. So just thinking of special ways that we can support them now, as opposed to before, and we didn't own the putt course.
Right.
It was like, oh well, let's drop off a bag of cat food to ARF. We felt like it's like, how can we give back
right.
To these organizations that we love. So this will be, for me, this is going to be a good opportunity. So
yeah, I really like the approach you guys taking. It's a passion project. Obviously you guys are in it to make money, but it seems like there's more than just a bottom line with you guys on this project.
Absolutely.
What organizations have you reached out to or wanting to work with?
Well, to be honest, right now, I'm kind of overwhelmed with everybody reaching out to us, which is exactly what I had hoped for. I never dreamed it would happen so quickly. In my mind, I'm kind of I don't want to say, I don't know if it's OCD or a perfectionist, but the way our place looks is very, very important to me.
Yeah.
And before before we try to host anything great, because we want it to be exceptional. We don't want it to just be a place for someone to come. We want them to leave thinking, wow, we want that wow factor. And we're just not there yet. We're so close. It already looks so much better, and it's really coming along. And he's worked so hard on the landscaping and stuff. I want those final touches. Like, we have some really cool creative things in the works that, weather needs to cooperate a little bit more. And once those things are done, it's going to be game on. It's going to be calling these places and saying, what can we do? Let's get together, let's put our heads together and do something really creative and fun so that they can make some money for their efforts. So
how's the feeling of realizing your dream of owning a business been?
It's been, that hits us every once in a while. It's like owning your first, nice home. And it's like you get the keys, like, wow, this is our home. This is
really it.
This is really weird. We're not the kids anymore. We're these adults. We have this really nice home, and how did we get this? It's kind of that same realization. It's like that step up where it's like, wow, this is a really nice property. It's a mini golf course that's nice. There's a restaurant on here. It's like that little bit of that. Overwhelming wow. It's like I can't believe we're doing this. This is exactly what we want to do. So that's what we've been dreaming of.
So you guys are obviously chasing your entrepreneurial dream, which the ambition, and when you guys talk about it, I can see just the sparkle. I can just tell how enthused you are about it. What advice do you give to other people who are wanting to start or own their own business?
Well, I think for me, you have to have that ambition in you. That's the biggest thing, I think, to success. You can't go into it half-heartedly or hoping it's just going to make it on its own. You have to put the effort into it and the ambition into it, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to do it. If that's what your true passion is, and you think that's your calling, then go for it.
Kyla, what would your advice be?
Mine would be that you just need to get out there. Also, you need to engage with people. Don't be afraid to get out there and brag, so to speak, about what you're doing. Along with the ambition comes, you're excited and you're proud and all of that. So getting out and not being afraid to network and find people that, to educate about what it is that you're doing or what you have to offer. And, in the past, this wouldn't be your first job, of course. You surely have had other jobs, before you've come into this. So you've met people, you surely have past business professional relationships. Call on those people, let them know what you're doing, because word of mouth is huge. And, people like to do business with people they know, like, and trust. So, sorry, Peggy, had to steal that again, but that's one of my favorite sayings, and it's so true,
Yeah,
And just to add on that, like she was saying, the networking, all the people that you've grown to know over the years through the community, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't try to do it on your own. There's a lot of people out there who have a lot more experience than you do in certain areas in the business you're trying to run, so don't be afraid to go out there and ask for that help.
What all ways have you guys advertised or helped get the word out?
So social media is huge. It can kill you, or it can help you. And I've found that it's been very, very helpful. I think it's I take care of the Facebook page, and then we're also on Google Business, of course. And then our oldest daughter takes care of Instagram and Twitter. So basically, we want people to know, that Facebook is a great resource for us. Especially with us being a seasonal business and being outside, weather delays, like currently right now, we're closed for the rest of the day because it's nasty outside. So, weather updates and things like that, they can find that on our Facebook page.
Speaking of weather, we all know it's been a very, very wet spring. How has that affected you guys? Obviously, I know you have to shut down, but have you been able to stay pretty busy even with the rain we've had?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the top challenges is you go in there and you're constantly monitoring the radar, and you have workers that are asking them, they need to come in, they not come in. And what we found, even just this week, we think, okay, we're going to close down, and a group of 10 to 12 golfers come out, and we say, hey, it's raining. We want to play anyway. So we've had people actually go out there and just play in the rain, play some miniature golf. It's been crazy. But then the other challenge is, as soon as that rain stops, the phone calls start coming in. You guys open now? So again, I think that just shows how much people are interested in getting out there and playing mini golf or getting to the batting cages. It's just been really exciting to see the response, but the weather has been definitely a big challenge for us.
Yeah, hopefully we get a stretch in July and August where it's dry for several days and you guys can consistently be open. You mentioned the restaurant on their property. Was that on the same property, or did you guys kind of buy it separately?
It was all part of the 2 acres that are out there. Yep.
Now, I noticed on Facebook the other day, I saw you guys are collaborating with Victoria Brewer, who was a former guest on this show. How did that connection happen?
I put it out on Facebook that we were looking for someone to lease the space, looking for someone who was driven, community involved as we are, someone who would want to put a food item or food items in there that maybe would complement our guests as well as our guests would complement their eatery. And Victoria was one of the first ones to respond with interest. And, she and I have known each other for a lot of years through the community and things like that. And, I already know that I trust her and I think she feels the same. So I think she referred to us as, people are going to say we're the dynamic duo. So I'm super excited about this partnership. So
yeah, I was really excited because I know Victoria, because she's been a guest on the podcast and we went to high school together, but she caters a lot of events at my work and her food is amazing. And I've never met anyone that's such a hard worker. So to see her in that building with you guys, I think it's a tag team, a great tag team for you guys. What kind of food do you think she's going to be putting out there?
Well, she put a little bit of a teaser out there with her menu, and I cannot even begin to try to even say what all was on there. But the way I'm kind of taking it is she's, we're back in Lindenbrook Plaza. And if anybody's familiar with that, there's a lot of offices and such back there. So I think she wants to do some prepackaged meals where basically she does home cooked meals and she'll have that available to the office folks for lunch, or maybe even they wanted to grab something to take home for dinner,
similar to her prepped
yes,
business.
her prepped meals, that's what it's called. Thank you. So and then she also is going to have more stadium food, so more like maybe the pizzas and easy sandwiches
hot
and
dogs and
foods on sticks.
Yeah. And then of
ice
course
cream.
the important thing, ice cream. So that's
every
what,
little kid's gonna want some putt-putt and ice
Well,
cream,
yeah,
I'm sure.
it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, and I would say 95% of the people that come through mini golf, they're either asking, where can we go for ice cream? Or, hey, let's go get some ice cream. Or, man, I wish you guys had ice cream. It's just, that's what everybody wants. So it's going to be perfect. So
Now, you mentioned you've had a lot of community support already. What do you think has built that excitement in the community? Do you think it's just the lack of mini golf in the area, your networking, or a combination of both?
I think it's definitely a combination of both. Kyla has a ton of networking in the community. She's been doing it for so many years. She has so many great relationships out there in the community. That's been a huge boost to us for sure.
Now, as far as this 2019 season, what kind of goals have you guys set, or have you set any?
I think the biggest goal was to get this place, a very nice family destination spot. So looking beyond, obviously any type of revenue goal, it was, we want this place to look really nice. We want people to come back repeatedly, not just once during the season and be done with it. We want them to come back multiple times. We're already seeing that in just a few weeks we've been open. We have several customers there once a week, or some batters there once a day. So I think our biggest goal is to get to where we want it. And then I think as it becomes nicer and nicer, it becomes completely renovated, then those revenues are going to follow.
How long do you think those renovations will take to get it really where you guys want it?
I think at this point, it's come along a lot faster over the past few weeks. We're getting some help. We're getting the chainsaw guys out there sculpting the trees into some interesting creatures. That'll be the latest attraction, so to speak, when you come out there.
Are those out of the trees you guys had taken down?
That is
Oh,
right.
that's a neat idea.
Yeah, so we got it, cut down part way, and then we came up with the creatures we wanted to put into them, and he's was out there just today trying to get them finished up for us. But our hope is to really be done here. Well, I won't be completely finished with them, I guess, but to that point where we feel like we can have that grand reopening, so to speak, of it. And hopefully we can coordinate that with Victoria to make it just a huge event, a day-long event that goes into the evening.
Kyla, you had mentioned some events, fundraising events, etc. What types of events are you thinking of or have you been approached with?
Anybody who knows us very well knows we are huge animal lovers. So we, of course, have been approached by animal rescue organizations to do some events, which I'm way on board, super excited about that. But we're not just, open to that. I mean, we want anybody, who would like to host a fundraiser. We would like for them to feel free to reach out to us and try to do something like that. But we also want to reach out. And you were talking about goals. I mean, my goal personally is to get this place up the way we want it, so that we can start tackling these things. And we really want to reach out and work on getting companies and organizations to know that they can do employee appreciation, days. I mean, it's set up perfect for that. Plenty of room and such. We have a pavilion, birthday parties or, customer appreciation. And, the chamber has even been talking to me about coming up with some fun little events and a little teaser. I think we definitely want to do this, but we want to look into not necessarily knowing if it would happen this year, but maybe next year. We definitely want to kind of do a spin off of their chamber cup that they do, out at Woodland Trails, but do like a mini chamber cup. That's which would idea. Be so much fun, because there are so many. I mean, I know personally firsthand that I've worked out in the community with corporations for a long time, and there are so many people that golf, and everybody wants to golf, and they want you to take your customers golfing. And I was always like, well, can I drive the golf cart? Because I don't golf, but everybody can mini golf, or at least try. So I think there's a lot of folks out there, and I've heard this multiple times, that do not golf, and they've said, oh my gosh, I can totally mini golf. That would be so much fun. So it would give them something to do as well. So
I think it's a great idea, because a lot of offices, there might be some big time golfers, but the rest of the office isn't into golf, doesn't want to golf.
Yeah.
So to be able to include an event like that. On TV the other day, this is really random, I saw a mini golf tournament.
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Is this going to be something in the future at Boulder Falls?
Well, we've talked about that. There is, what we found through our research and through our business development plan, there is a definite difference between putt-putt and miniature golf. The putt-putt tournaments, they're more of that, the cleaner. They don't have the, I say cleaner, like the greens don't have the animatronics on there, the clown's mouth, or you walk under a giraffe or something like that, or the moving windmill. And we went back, and that was one of the early things we were trying to decide on. Do we make this? We're like some of the other places used to be, where you try to hit it through a house, and then once we were out there and we start working on it, you realize how neat this place is with the rocks and the boulders and everything. Like, we don't want to add that. We feel like maybe kind of tacky looking type stuff. It's not. It doesn't fit with how the layout of the land is there. But yes, it would fit in terms of a putt-putt tournament, in terms of the layout of how it's. I mean, it's a very difficult course, so it would be a very big challenge for a tournament like that.
That'd be another neat event, like you said, with having the food right there. I mean, you could have your own little tournament. So obviously this place is keeping you guys very, very busy, but I'm sure you have other passions and hobbies outside of that. What are some other things that keep you guys busy?
Well, for me, tennis was one of my passions I've always been involved with. I've been coach previously as a coach out at Yorktown. I had just resigned from that. And I played it during the summer, I mean, basically year round. So that's one of the things we'll have to put on hold just for a little bit while we get this the way we like it. And our kids, our oldest one's grown and gone now into college, but our youngest, she plays softball, and that's what Kyla's very heavily involved with. It's one of her big passions.
Travel softball?
Yes.
That's a full-time job right there.
It is full-time. It is. But I love it. I mean, I miss it on the weekends when we don't have to go. I'm like, man, I kind of miss, I miss being on the field. I miss the field dirt in my eyeballs and, But right now it's been kind of nice. We've had a little more breaks than we usually have, and the rain has played a role in that. And so it's been, in a way, kind of a blessing because I really kind of need to be helping him, at the golf course. So it's kind of worked out okay. But yeah, I would say softball is definitely what I love to do with Brooklyn. So
is she employed at Border Falls yet?
yes.
Unofficially.
Unofficially.
But, don't give her sort of a child labor law issues here. But yeah, she's 11. She loves running the front cash register and talking to all the customers that come through. And
that's a great experience.
Yeah.
And they love talking to her. So it's working out really well when she's there with us.
Her older sister, who's getting ready to be a sophomore at Ball State, is always like, "Why she gets tips? I don't get tips."
She's working hard. She deserves them. That's great. Earlier you mentioned you guys, when you wanted to be business owners, mentioned craft beer restaurant. Is there a passion for craft beer making it, or?
Originally, yes, but then after kind of see what's involved with the process, we know the local breweries, the owner, and it's a very complex business. So we'd probably we're looking more at the serving side of it, actually having it on tap at a restaurant.
At least for now, you guys are in a town with plenty of craft breweries and craft beer bars.
Yes, we have a great appreciation for our buddies who do that and started the business, and I mean that's crazy. So we're happy to just go patronize and enjoy their craft brews. So
which bar is that?
The Guardian is one of them.
I actually talked to Jared about being on the podcast and talking beer. Yeah, absolutely. I love that place. They're the Res.
Oh yeah,
I'm an IPA guy, so I love that beer.
So I'm the Ogre Stout and the darker beer guy, and the Frank the Tank.
They're so good there.
Yeah,
it's a neat place. I'm really happy with what they're doing with the whole Mad Jacks project.
Yeah,
it's
that's
really
cool.
good, and it goes along with what you guys are doing. You guys took a place that was being ran down a little bit, just overgrown, and bringing something positive to our community. And I know people, sounds like, are already appreciating it, and will just continue to grow for you guys. Well, I really appreciate you guys coming out, talking about the process of purchasing it and all the work you've done, your collaboration with Victoria. Could you give me some details about the falls, hours, ways of contact, social media?
Sure. So you can Google us, of course, now at this point. Our website is actually in production right now, so that's not quite up and ready yet. But Facebook, again, is the best way to reach or to kind of check in and see what's going on. It's under Boulder Falls Mini Golf and Bat Zone Muncie. So you want to make sure that you're grabbing the one from Muncie and not the one that's in Pennsylvania, even though their name isn't the same. They're called Boulder Falls. But then basically we're open right now. We're operating on summer hours, of course. So we're open 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday. And then Friday and Saturday we're open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m.
It's very, one of the things we haven't hit on is just the family fun piece of it. And it's a very inexpensive night out, whether it be for the family or a date night. I mean, as expensive as even the movies have gotten, by the time you get popcorn and everything, you're up some bucks. But for general admission, it's just $7 for most, $6 for students, and for all the youth that are 6 and under, it's only $5.
Well, my wife has been on me about playing putt-putt with her for years, and so I'm sure we'll be out this summer. Hopefully sooner than later if we get some good weather. The restaurant, is that going to be open during the winter?
Yes, she will operate all year round.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And we've mentioned you guys are in Lindenbrook, over on the north side of Muncie. What's the exact address in case anyone's looking for that?
It's 3507 North Briarwood Lane.
Great. Thank you so much for stopping by and talking. Like I said, I really appreciate, one, people who are doing positive things in the community, and two, people who are willing to take a risk and start a business. And it sounds like you guys are off to a great start already. So wish you nothing but the best. I'm sure Jill and I will be out playing a few rounds this summer, and can't wait to check it out. As always, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, the Jakesville Podcast. Subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube, and get each episode automatically downloaded. Thanks. This episode of the Jake Sewell Podcast brought to you by Boxer Baby Bow Ties. If you have a cat or dog, you have to check out Boxer Baby Bow Ties. These are fashionable accessories for cats and dogs that are handmade by owner Kyla Marie Carsey right here in Indiana. You live out of state? No worries. All items ship anywhere in the U.S. So pamper your fur baby and show off their unique personality with their accessories for fashion-forward pets. Contact Kyle at boxer.baby.bowties@gmail.com or on Instagram at boxer.babies.bowties. Also check out her online store at boxerbabyboutique.com.